Wait, what? What's up, everybody? This is John coming at you from Wheeler Motors once again. And if you seem to be a little confused of what you just saw, yes, it is a gas bike. Why in the world is Wheeler Motors electric motorcycles translation? Why am I riding a gas bike? Well, I'll tell you why. Still repping EM, still love them. They're the best thing since, I don't know, sliced bread is a cliche, but they're the best thing to happen in my riding for a long time, and I love them. It's so great maintenance wise and everything. But I will say this, the number one question or concern that all my customers, Electromotion customers, say is, what am I gonna do with my gas bike? Or, I don't want to give up my gas bike. And I always tell them, don't. You already got it, you know. Don't. If you're lucky enough to hold on to your gas bike for, you know, your long rides, your trail rides, and you want to get a Electromotion E Pure for your trials training, or you just want to pick up trials as a separate like cross trainer, go for it. You know, you're still getting a quality trials bike, and you can develop those skills. Even though it's electric, those skills that you learn on the trials bike, you can put right into your gas bike. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do a review on the MR200 from Rieju. Now, did I say Rieju? Yeah, I said Rieju. And that's how you pronounce the name of this bike. This bike is a 2022 version of the old Gas EC200. Now, you might be confused, but when KTM took over Gas, they basically bought the name. And quite frankly, it's a red KTM, carbureted these days. But Rieju took over the factory, the plant, the workers. They kept those guys gainfully employed, and now they produce the MR200, 250, 300, and the MR Ranger 200 and 300 as well, which is comparable to a beta cross trainer, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Now, these bikes come with high-end components at a very, very reasonable price, and we'll be going over all of that in the review to come, so stay tuned. Before we actually get into the review, I want to just give one more big shout out to Hawaii Rides, Sam Bird, and also Central Power Sports Distribution, Mark Berg, for being the distributor for this bike here in the US. They've both allowed me to be a kind of a brand ambassador for this bike, and I'm just reminding you guys, like the EM, I will be doing product demos. And hey, you know what, if you see me in the trail and we're just chilling, you want to give the bike a little run around just to see how snappy it is in a 200cc. Maybe you've never been on a 200cc before, because not too many guys make them, especially now with beta being the only one in production. If you want to give a 200 a try, no worries, just let me know. Hit me up in the comments block, hit me up on my IG page, which should be there. Now, without wasting any more time, let's get into the review. All right, guys, so we got a little bit of Hawaiian showers in this sunny weather. All of a sudden it starts to dump on me, but sexy things look better wet anyway, right? And this bike, and this bike, even though people don't know anything about the bike, people say this bike looks really good, and I totally agree. But starting from the top down, getting into it, we got your speedometer here, we got your hour meter here. On the top of the bike, that comes standard. You have your throttle, kill switch, cable throttle, of course, and the kill switch is on this side, and the ignition is on this side here. I'm sure that's easily changeable if that's not what you're used to, but yeah, that's how it is. These bikes in Europe are road legal, because two strokes are still road legal in Europe, and they come with this indicator here for your high beam, low beam, and your turn signals. But of course, we don't got turn signals. Okay, you have your wet and dry mapping here as well. I haven't got a chance to try this just yet, because as you can see, it's pretty dry, but it does come stock with dual maps. as a lot of the newer bikes do come with as well. Nissan front brake, master cylinder, and for our clutch here we have a Magura master cylinder. Pretty nice pull. Now this bike is kinda bone stock, and we'll get into where the kinda part comes in a little later. Coming up front, you got your number plate with your headlight, standard. You got a nice front fender here, and of course they couldn't do it without Excel wheels. Now, like I said, high quality components at a very reasonable price. Yeah, Gallifler brakes. You have a Nissan 4-piston caliper up front, Gallifler rotor and pads as well. Standard tires on this guy are Michelin Enduro. It's a medium compound, so it comes medium compound on the front and the rear. I'll show you what I did with the rear, but the rear was actually quite good, and I believe I've heard it's really good for like this kind of dry terrain. But it's coming up on our spring season. It's probably gonna rain. It's guaranteed gonna rain, so I did a little upgrade there, and we'll talk about that later. And this is one of the bigger deals here: KYB front suspension and a rear shock on the back, and we'll see that later. You're not getting subpar components. You know, you're getting top quality components. You can send these out to get tuned if you wish. You can take it into Hawaii rides and they can do whatever they gotta do to make it fit you. You know, all the cartridge adjustments. If you want to put a spacer in there for whatever reason to suit your height, you can do that. KYB platform is very solid, comes on Shercos and a lot of other brands as well. So like I said, top quality components on a mildly priced bike. As you can see, you got your regular enduro tank with your semi see-through tank here, so you can always check how much gas you got. I'm always checking my battery meter on my electric motion, so this is going to get me a lot further than that. But different style of riding, well, different bike for different style of riding. Look in there, real simple, 200 cc's. One of the, you know, it's still considered a small bore engine, but a great looking engine, very simple. If you look at this, if you've seen this before, this is basically a 2019 gas model. Your water pump here, forgive me, but I did leave off the skid plate. It actually comes with a polymer skid plate, but I opted not to put it on because I am waiting for an S3 skid plate and a bunch of other accessories, which I will go through and add on later and do in the second video. This is actually what I like about the bike, you know. The price, of course, we'll go over the price a little bit later at the end, but look at this, standard with a kicker. And you're probably wondering, for all you new guys out there riding and just bought bikes, you're like, why am I so excited about this? And I am, because if you bought a KTM, Beta, Husky or whatever in the last couple of years, you don't even have this. You don't even know what that is. All you know is you push that button and the bike starts. But if you're lucky enough to not have had an issue with any of your electrical system or your battery, this is a lifesaver. And of course, you don't want to be kicking this like anybody else. Nobody wants to be kicking this thing all day. You know, the only guys, and I give props up to the YZ250 guys that just, you know, keep on kicking. They're the men of the sport with the YZs, you know, they just keep it up. But having a kicker, if you were to buy this for a KTM, Husky, Beta, I believe it's going to cost you around $300 if not more. And if you're going to have it installed, it's going to cost you a bunch too. So Rieju has factored that into the price. You already get the kicker and the gear for the starter and everything. So that's already installed. You don't have to touch that. That's a plus. Now moving to the suspension, the rear shock is a KYB shock. Just like the front forks, it's fully serviceable by anybody. This is not an off-brand. This is a standard shock that's used by everyone in the industry today, especially in the upper class of quality for bikes. And that is basically, you know, factored into the price as well. And it's almost amazing what they can sell this bike for all the stuff you get. Moving down to the foot pegs, kind of nice foot pegs. Got a little bit, it's pretty wide. We do have some S3 foot pegs coming in. Not to say that these aren't good, but I've come to like S3 stuff, as you can see. You know, I like S3. I like S3 gear, and I like S3 accessories, especially because they've been putting out their hard enduro, more hard enduro parts than not only trials parts. So if you have a Sherco out there, actually, if you have any other bike, they're making a lot of parts to suit your needs, and one of them are the hard rock pegs, so those are good. Come back here, you have your silencer, standard length, Nissan rear brake as well, Galfer rotor for his disc and pads as well, and Excel wheels. Like I said before, sorry, I kind of had a little too much fun riding in my backyard here before I stopped and made the video, and I realized I should have kept the bike super clean before I did the video, but I just couldn't help myself. It was so fun. But meaning, like what I said in the back, stock comes with the Michelin Enduro mediums, and I'll show you the tire here. It's a Michelin Enduro medium. This is what came standard with the bike, but right here I opted for a JX8 Enduro from IRC. Now this tire, if you haven't got into it, of course the Michelin medium is perfect for, I would say, 90% of everybody out there, but I'm a cheater and I like soft gummy tires. Not only that, I was going to install a tubeless, so I installed a tubeless system on this wheel already, and while I was installing the tubeless, I thought to myself, why kill myself this wet season with a medium compound tire? Let me just put the tubeless in, let me go for the gummy, and I'm pretty sure, I'm almost certain I'm gonna enjoy this bike a lot more because I won't be slipping and sliding as much. I will be still slipping and sliding, but I won't be slipping and sliding as much in our little Hawaiian ice over here when this gets wet with these tires. These tires are pretty killer. Getting down to this side of the engine, we have our starter here, and our starting unit here, we have our Keihin carburetor, which is standard of pretty much every carbureted bike still on the market right now. Keihin is a great carburetor. It's easy to tune. It's very simple, and some people don't like simple, but you know, for a carburetor stand, simple is better. I have a V-Force reeds here. Some stuff I gotta get a little reacclimated to since being on electric for so long. So I'm gonna have to upgrade my tool bag once again. And we have our standard pipe here as well. We're gonna get this guarded up a little bit. We're gonna have a skid plate, like I said, for the protection here. Change these pegs. I got some Polysport guards coming in just to keep these protected. We do have some rocks that we like to go through here. So this being here and the design that it is, it's good to have a little extra protection there. And I believe my skid plate is gonna have a little flap that comes up to protect the Bendex and the starter motor as well. Standard 520 chain comes with an O-ring chain, so that's good for us. You know, we like the O-ring chains to keep our stuff clean here. Seat cover is really nice. This is a pretty soft, grippy seat cover. The bike, I gotta say, the one thing that is not necessarily a concern, but it's just something to keep in mind. But I'm 5'8", and when I got the bike, the seat was very tall. It's a very cushiony, very padded seat, but when I sat on the bike, I would, like, you know, teeter-totter. I thought it was a very tall bike, and initially I was kind of intimidated by it because it was so tall. But you know, this is made for a European, right? You know, 6'2", 6'4" European guy. That is definitely not me. So like the tires that I kind of customized to my liking already, I actually took the stock seat and I shaved it down. I used the standard seat cover, which I liked because it was somewhat grippy. I just carved a little bump in the back. I just shaved it down and I lowered it about, I want to say about 1.5 inches, almost 2 inches. And now the bike suits me perfectly. I can stand on the bike, I can sit on the bike, and my feet can actually touch the ground, which is perfect. Now, another thing I did notice about this bike is that the tail, the back fender, is very rigid. It actually has these grips down here, little ridges. Let me see that here. And these kind of like our finger points. I may put a little bit of tape over there for more grip, especially when it gets muddy. But I'm also going to put a enduro hand seat grab, you know, like everyone has, you know, that that's something that just you can't get away from. It's so nice and handy. But this fender is actually very, very sturdy, and if you kind of take a look at it, it's pretty solid from the back here all the way to the front. It's pretty beefy. And I'm kind of curious. I am definitely gonna put this to the test because everyone knows how I ride personally, and I've known to make the bike go 180 in the opposite direction, upside down, from time to time. So will be interesting to see that, and you're probably going to be able to see that on my friend's page, ZAPP Hawaii, up there. He's definitely going to make sure he catches me in the most inopportune moment, but it makes for good riding vids. So check out his page if you already haven't done so, and check it out of our riding adventures in Oahu. Shout out to Clyde at ZAPP Hawaii and all the gang that help give him content. But yeah, here 200, you know, showing you this 200, and this is the airbox side. It's very easy. You just kind of stick your hand in there, and with one hand holding the camera, I can just pull it off. So it's an easy removal. It's like it's a kind of a one big piece, similar to like a Husqvarna, and you have these little points where you stick those pins in. Twin air pre-oiled filter, which is awesome. Oh, even has, get rid of that. We don't need to see that anymore. But comes with a twin air filter, which is good. You can get an extra one just to have, so that you're not, you know, having to clean one and you forget it. All this gas stuff, I tell you. Just go electric. I'm just kidding. But the spring here is actually kind of nice. You don't want to lose this, of course, but you push this out. You don't need any tools. You push this out and your filter can come out, and you can work on that very, very easily. Put that back in there. Yep. And now the big reveal. What everybody wants to know: how much does these bikes cost? And you've been rocking and raving about these things, how good value they are for the price. And let me tell you, this MR Racing 200cc MSRP starts at $9,499. Now that's kind of ridiculous, guys. 9,000 half for this bike right here. 200 cc's, electric start. Oh, one more thing I forgot. I don't have the tools to take the seat off, but you get a lithium battery, right? Electric start. You got the button, you got the kicker that comes with installed. That's not a $200 accessory, and you get almost a $200 lithium ion battery as well, so you don't get stuck in the trail with your electric start, right? $9,000, $9,000 half MSRP. Of course, you're gonna pay a little bit more for shipping and taxes and all that stuff, but this bike you can buy, and still, after all your accessories, you can still be under 11, where most bikes in that higher end range, you know, you're gonna start off at like 12, you know, and you're still gonna get KYB suspension, front, and, you know, forks in the shock. You're still gonna get Excel wheels and all that good stuff. But yeah, you're paying a lot more, and depending on your riding skill, your riding level, your riding frequency, or whatever it may be, you know, this is a very good deal for the bike, and you're not sacrificing quality. You're still getting a quality bike. You might not be familiar with the name, but hopefully these guys will become a little bit more big players in the game as the enduro world catches on to what Rieju has to offer. All right, guys, thank you once again. Mahalo, everybody. Mahalo, Sam Bird from Hawaii Rides. Mahalo, Mark Berg from Central Power Sports Distribution for bringing in this awesome bike to America and giving us the opportunity to enjoy these things. Continue to check me out for electric motion stuff. I think I'm gonna change the name. I'm thinking about ZAPP and BRAPP Hawaii, because I preach both and I intend to do both. Thank you very much for your support. Everyone that says what's up to me in the trails, you know, it's kind of weird seeing people and they're like, hey, you're the electric guy, and I'm like, oh yeah, kind of. But you know, with new options coming out these days, you know, it's important that we try new things. You know, we keep an open mind about what riding is all about, and it's not the future of electric only. It's not staying traditional with gas. You know, it's just enjoying yourself, enjoying others' companies, and just having fun on the trail with your family and your friends, and making those memories that are gonna last. So if you have a good tool like EM or Rieju, you'll just enjoy it a lot more. Have the right tools for the job. With that being said, mahalo guys. Thank you for checking us out, and always, like I always say, ride with aloha.